Okay, it seems that I only talked about Dolly-centric episodes so far. Maybe I should mix things up a bit and talk about her bro instead. I mean, Dylan is a very good boy after all. As I already discussed in another video, some people have issues with Dolly. I took the time to explain why she isn't that bad in the perfect match as people make her out to be. But yeah, I can at least see where people are coming from. However, even if we accept that Dolly was portrayed in a negative light in that episode, I don't really consider it that much of an issue. If I learned one thing from watching LP for the last couple of years, then it is that everyone gets a chance to be terrible at least once. It's something that just happens from time to time and it is not intentional. And if this is as bad as it will get, we can consider ourselves lucky. Anyway, in this episode, Dal-Martians, it is Dylan's turn to be a jerk. The episode begins with Dolly telling the exaggerated story of a stunt she presumably performed to her siblings. Everyone is shocked until Dylan shows up and explains the scientific inaccuracies in her story, embarrassing her in front of everyone. And here, I can't really blame Dolly to get annoyed at that. But in particular, his treatment of Dawkins in the scene makes Dylan look like a jerk.
And Dawkins, I took you for a dog of science. Come on, your sidekick services are required. Let's go look for intelligent life up there, cause it's not like there's any down here.
This patronizing tone that he describes Dawkins as his sidekick doesn't win him any sympathy points today, not to mention that he basically called all of his siblings stupid in the scene. And if the scene is any indication, then this is not the first time something like that happened. So yeah, Dylan not only plays the party pooper, he likes to show off how smart he is, while calling everyone around him stupid. And you wonder why Dolly thinks he can be annoying at times. This is only the establishing opening scene though. Dylan is not that bad throughout the rest of the episode, as it focuses more on the prank Dolly and Dawkins are playing on him, though his ego does show through at some points during the episode. So yeah, while Dylan is a very dutiful good boy, he can be rather arrogant and is not above insulting his siblings. But that's okay, you see, it's a character flaw and it doesn't go unignored. It's the same with Dolly in the perfect match. They did something bad and learn from it in the end. This is pretty normal for storytelling, even if the flaw sometimes takes the form of an unnatural, exaggerated character trait. So this episode deals with Dylan being an arrogant know-it-all, so Dolly and Dawkins want to humble him a bit. After Roxy tells him that her humans are dressing up as aliens for the Camden parade, they come up with a plan to trick Dylan into thinking that aliens have come to Earth and are brainwashing everyone. They drive him crazy by setting up mysterious signs. It is noteworthy that Dylan immediately jumps to the conclusion that he is some sort of chosen one the aliens want to contact specifically, highlighting his ego even further. Now, eventually Dylan tells Dolly and Dawkins of his discovery, and they goad him into finding the UFO of the aliens. Thanks to a later track, they get to the garage of Roxy's house, where they witness what appears to be a brainwashing procedure, when it is actually just Roxy's humans giving her some belly rubs and putting a costume hat on her. Now Dolly and Dawkins pretend to praise Dylan for being right all along, barely able to suppress their laughter, and telling him that he must be the savior of them all, something Dylan buys into because, again, his giant ego. They are about to reveal that they pranked him, showing that the two do know when to stop, but sadly Dylan already concluded that they also have been brainwashed, and that he has to destroy the alien mothership to rescue them all. Well, he attacks Roxy's humans at the parade so that they abandon their ship, and Dylan hijacks it. Dolly and Dawkins try to stop him and talk him out of it, but he refuses to believe them at first until they tell him that it was just a prank. But at this point it is already too late to stop the thing as the brakes broke.
Oh, we're not aliens, Dylan! We were just pranking you!
Gotcha? A prank?
Yeah, Dylan's reaction to this is good. Dolly of all people, however, has a saving idea, which just resembles the stunt she previously talked about at the beginning of the episode. They manage to survive this, and afterwards Dolly and Dawkins explain how they tricked Dylan.
Always knew the Thurman would come in handy.
I just love how DJ shows up out of nowhere helping them. Like Da Vinci, he is way too underutilized so far. In general, most of the siblings seemingly were onto the joke and happily played along, highlighting further that Dylan apparently had it coming.
We suckered you good.
Maybe a little too good.
Fact.
Okay, yeah, I deserved it.
Now the episode ends with Dolly telling their siblings about their physics-defying stunt like she did in the beginning of the episode, again exaggerating the story quite a bit. Dolly asks Dylan to confirm the story and he's about to correct her until he gets the hint and says that it exactly happened the way she described, showing that he indeed learned his lesson to loosen up a little bit and to not always take everything too seriously. Not to mention that exaggeration is simply a part of storytelling to get a point across. I think we all did it at some point when we were telling a story to entertain or impress someone. And with that being said, let's wrap things up. Dal-Martians is a pretty fun episode. Dylan's freakout is very amusing to watch and he does learn a good lesson in the process. But yeah, I think this episode highlights a few very important things. Dylan is a very fun and great character, but he also has his flaws. As I mentioned in my review for The Perfect Match, some people dislike Dolly as they view her treatment of Dylan as borderline bullying. I think this episode helps to set the record straight. Dylan's know-it-all attitude and ego are a part of his character from the very beginning. His flaws are more apparent in this episode, but you can also find these traits in other episodes as well. So I think that it is rather understandable that Dolly sometimes gets annoyed at him and likes to have a laugh on his expense. This obviously doesn't mean that it is okay. But neither is Dylan's patronizing and at some point downright insulting attitude towards his siblings. Both Dylan and Dolly have flaws that annoy each other, which leads to some conflict once in a while. And that's what I think is important here. It is rather mutual. It is not really that much more than your usual squabble between siblings. Sometimes one party takes it a bit too far and needs to be put down a few notches, but nothing out of the ordinary. I think it is important to keep in mind that they in the end still love each other very much, can admit to their mistakes and know when to stop. But what about you? Did you like this episode? Anything that bothered you? What are you thinking about Dylan? Let me know in the comments below. I am Tricky Fox. Stay foxy.
Sly as a fox, you got me under your spell. But you know I'll never tell that I know you know so well. Sometimes you can be too smart.